Welcome, friends. We are starting a new series where we will study about Muhammad's personal life from his birth till his death. If you are interested, subscribe and keep watching. Generally speaking, the personal life of any person should not be an interest to me. However, that is not so with the Prophet of Islam, whose life is expected to be imitated by Muslims all over the world. Hence, we will do this investigation in this series. This is the first episode of the series. If you want to know the birth, life, and death of Jesus Christ, you can turn to the pages of the New Testament. The first 4 books are called the Gospels. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John addresses these basic questions about Jesus. However, that is not with the case of Muhammad. We have to go all over the place to get some basic idea of their prophet. There is hardly any information about Muhammad in the Quran. We have to search through the hadiths, tafsirs, and Islamic history books to know Muhammad. This is a short biodata of the Prophet of Islam as we know now. Historian Nur al-Din al-Halabi, the author of the book Al-Sirah al-Halabiyah, Volume 1, page 128, says, Muhammad's birth name was Qasim. Qasim means damaged or rotten, such as damaged milk. The word Qasim should not be confused with the word Qasim. Names carry meaning and purpose. The ingredients of the Arabian prophet would start with the change of name, therefore Qasim, the rotten one, had to start with a makeover. Investigating a bit further, the makeover had a biblical angle to it. Let us read the hadiths in which Qasim changed his name to Muhammad. Narrated Jubair bin Mut'im, Allah's messenger, said, I have 5 names. I am Muhammad and Ahmed. I am Al-Mahi, through whom Allah will eliminate infidelity. I am Al-Hashir, who will be the first to be resurrected, the people being resurrected thereafter, and I am also Al-Aqib, that is, there will be no prophet after me. Muhammad is very clearly appropriating the names that exclusively belong to God. Therefore, the words that he claimed for himself is blasphemy in nature to every Christian mind. Any serious student of biblical eschatology will know certain facts about the coming Antichrist entity. He is called the man of lawlessness and the abomination that causeth desolation. He exalts himself over everything that is called God. He wages war against the holy people of God. He will change the laws and times. Christians take much pride in the virgin birth of Jesus Christ and proclaim that as a sign of the divinity of Christ. But much of Islamic texts regarding the birth of Muhammad is hidden and unexposed. Most Muslims are made to believe stories in which their own texts are unclear. The hidden secrets surrounding the birth of Muhammad is usually brushed under the carpet as it reveals many embarrassing details. So let us get started with some facts of the Arabian society during that time. Before Islam, there was a kind of marriage they called Zawaj al-Rahit, which meant group marriage. This is how the marriage worked. The woman sleeps with many men, 7, 10, or more. The number doesn't matter much. All are called rahet or groups. You could say it's not marriage at all. It was more of an orgy accepted by society. The mother then chose the father of her baby when she gave birth. Book of Al-Tabaqat al-Kubra, print 1, 1968, volume 1, page 95-96, says the following. Obed Allah told us that it was Waraka ibn Nawfal's sister on the road looking for men. As she looked, she did not like any until she saw Abdullah, Muhammad's named father, walk by. She said to him, holding him from his clothes, What do you think about my goods? He said, Not now. When I am back. He went out fast and entered Amina bint Wahab, Muhammad's mother, and had sex with her. On his way back he came to meet with Waraka ibn Nawfal's sister and said to her, You'd still like to sleep with me? She said, No, when you walked by before you left me, I saw a shiny face, but now you have lost that shiny face. I personally think that this is an invented story to prove that the shiny face mentioned here was because the seed of Muhammad was there in Abdullah. This is because the Islamic writers want to legitimize the 4-year-long pregnancy of Amina. Keep watching. This incident which I have cited is a side incident which happened en route to the journey of Abdullah to marry Amina. The father of Abdullah was Abd al-Muttalib. The father and the son went to get a wife for his son. And they arrived at her house where they also saw her cousin named Hala. And as the father of Abdullah saw Hala, he wanted to marry her. That way, both the sisters got married on the same day. The son married Amina while the father married Hala. Ibn Ishaq records that when the father of Qasim, Muhammad, married Amina, Muhammad's mother, he stayed with her 3 nights, as was the tradition at that time. Technically, Muhammad's aunt is his grandfather's wife. Al-Tabaqat al-Kubra, Volume 1, page 95 says Abd al-Muttalib ibn Hashim and his son Abd Allah married on the same day, so Hala, daughter of Wahib, gave birth to Hamza, who became Muhammad's uncle and his brother by breastfeeding. Ibn Ishaq also says that Muhammad's father slept only with Muhammad's mother for 3 days. He even slept with her in her house. How can she be his wife? Why didn't he? If they were a couple, why didn't she move in with him? This means that the mother of the Prophet never moved into Abdullah's house. This is an interesting twist, where the mother of Muhammad is not the one breastfeeding him, rather his aunt is doing it. This also means that the mother of Muhammad was unwilling to give him breastfeed. Shall we not investigate that part? Sirat Halabiyah, Volume 1, page number 219 and 220 says that Amina, the mother of Muhammad, used to hide him in a vessel right from his birth. Even Ibn Hisham speaks of this hiding of newborn Muhammad in the pot. He explains the reason for the hiding of the child as a practice of the Jahiliyyah period. The second excuse is that Amina did not want anybody else to see Muhammad before he is seen by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. These historians have added some interesting stories too. They say that in the first night of the life of Muhammad where he was kept in the pot and covered, he used to suck his fingers from where the milk would be flowing to feed the baby. And in the morning the vessel would break. This happened for 2 nights. After that, the grandfather of Muhammad came and took the child to the Kaaba and did the tawaf. After that, he gave the child to other women for breastfeeding. Ibn Hisham goes on to say that there were no women to whom it was not requested to feed Muhammad. However, no woman is willing to feed Muhammad. The reason for this is that these women expect good behavior from the father of the child. If the mother is not willing to feed Muhammad, and if other women are also not willing to feed him because the father is not a good person, there is only one conclusion which I see here, and that is that the newborn is an illegitimate child, or it could also be possible that the birth was caused as a result of a rape. Sirat al-Halabiyah, Volume 1, page 271, says that Muhammad had been breastfed by a total of 8 women. Now this is because he was constantly rejected as a child by many women after his mother rejected him. The cause for all these rejections can be linked to the way he was born. If a child is born illegitimate, it goes through these kinds of upbringing, which can be a reason why the Prophet of Islam turned out to be what he was, especially with his attitude towards women. Though Muslims may say that their Prophet was the only son of his mother, that is not really true. In the book of Imam al-Suyuti, the Al-Qasas al-Kubra, Volume 1, page 132, Muhammad's mother is saying that the pregnancy of Muhammad was the easiest one of all her pregnancies, which alludes to she having other kids. Now let us check out some texts, which is a cause for embarrassment for all Muslims. This text is the one that proves that the father of Muhammad cannot be Abdullah, as the PR machine of Islam keeps saying. We all know that Abdullah married Amina the same day as his father Abdul Muttalib married Hala. As a result of the marriage of Abdul Muttalib to Hala, she gave birth to a son by name Hamza within 1 year of the marriage. However, tragedy struck into the marriage of Amina as Abdullah died within 3 months of their marriage. Ideally, if a birth does not happen within 10 months of the death of the husband, it should be suspected that the father of the child may not be the deceased husband. We have enough of Islamic texts which prove that the birth of Muhammad happened 4 years after the birth of Hamza. There are also some Islamic texts which puts the birth of Muhammad 7 years after that. This age difference between Hamza and Muhammad is also established by the book of Sirah ibn Kathir, Volume 1, page 263, where Hamza is the one who goes to ask Khadija's hand for Muhammad. In Arabian culture, it is somebody who is elder who does it, and Hamza with his age difference fits the slot well. Now let us look into some other texts which say that Hamza was older than Muhammad by 4 years. The Book of Dard al-Ma'arif al-Islamiyya, Volume 29, page 9112, says that Muhammad was born in the year 570 AD. All Islamic books agree that the Battle of Ohad was in the year 625. This means that if we take the year 625, Ohad battle, and subtract 570, his birth year, we get to the age of Muhammad at that time. He was 55 years old. Al-Mustadrak Fay al-Sahih, Volume 3, page 212, Hadith number 4873, says that Hamza used to have 2 names, Abu Ali and Imara. He became a Muslim 6 years after Islam started, and he was 4 years older than Muhammad. He was killed in the Battle of Ohad, Saturday the 7th of the month of Shol. Book of Al-Tabaqat al-Kubra, Volume 3, page 103 says that Hamza, may Allah have mercy on him, was killed by a man named Washi. He was 59 years old and 4 years older than the Prophet. To conclude this exploration of Muhammad's ancestry, read with me Sahih al-Bukhari Hadith 2375. This important hadith shows that Muhammad was only a slave to the family he grew up with. It means that Hamza knew who was the real father of Muhammad, who happened to be a slave of the family. The portion of the hadith reads as follows: The Prophet came out in the company of Zayd bin Haritha, who was with him then, and I too went with them. He went to Hamza and spoke harshly to him. Hamza looked up and said, "Aren't you only the slaves of my forefathers?" The Prophet retreated and went out. Think about it. Why would the uncle of Muhammad say such a lie, unless it's true? Why did Muhammad withdraw himself right after, without even saying a word? The words of Hamza were stating a fact to the point that Muhammad could not respond and fight back. Wasn't Muhammad worried that if he talked more, Hamza would say more things that he would not want to hear? It's so clear that Muhammad was not expecting Hamza, his uncle, to say that in the first place. This all leads to one thing. Muhammad is the son of an unknown father. When this family adopted him, they called him Qatham, after one of their sons that had passed away. We have come to the end of this episode. If you have liked the content, please do click the like button and consider subscribing. Also, do not forget to click on the bell icon to be notified of all our future updates. Till we meet again, may the Lord bless you and keep you.